Hello friends, today we are going to see the discretionary powers which the governor has. As we all know, governor is a constitutional post. He is the head of the state in all the states within India. Just like president, he sits on the equal footing as far as the constitutional provisions go. President, who is the head of the state of India, governor is the head of the state of a particular province, which is also known as state in Indian polity. So, in Indian constitution, no discretionary power has been provided to the president, but certain discretionary power has been provided to governor for the proper functioning of the polity in India. That is done because governor plays a vital link between the center and the state. He is also considered as a representative of the central government in the state. Also, he is also called as the agent of the central government in the state. So if we take all the discretionary power from the governor, the link would be broken. So to maintain that vital link between the center and the state, which is very important for the parliamentary democracy which is practiced in India, and also the sort of unique federalism which is practiced in India, which is quasi-federal or tilted towards the unitary structure where union has been made more powerful than the states. It is very important to make a governor sit on the post, a constitutional post, but under the control of the central government, so that the governor can send the report about the constitutional machinery and the constitutional practices in the state. We should not forget that it is the utmost duty of the central government in a parliamentary democracy to see whether the state government is functioning as per the constitutional provisions or not. So, governor and the discretion power of the governor. And the discretionary powers of the governor. So, let us first see the difference between president and governor. As I told you, president is the head of the state. That is the only role president has. President acts on the aid and advice of his council of ministers under Article 74(1). Under Article 74(1), which establishes a council of ministers to aid and advice. So Article 71 is Clause 1 establishes a council of ministers to aid and advise the president. So the similar function has also been provided in the case of a governor under Article 161 Clause 1, in which 163 Clause 1, in which there shall be a council of ministers to aid and advise the governor. But there is an important distinction between these two. The distinction is this, that under Article 74(1), no area of discretion for the president has been left. Whereas, in the case of Article 163 Clause 1, governor has to act on the aid and advise. Has to act on the aid and advice of the council of ministers, but at the same time, he can also act independently of the aid and advice of the council of ministers. So this is one of the great distinction between the two. Another thing, president acts as a head of the state, which is nation, India. Whereas if we see governor plays dual role. One is as the head of the state, and second is as the representative of center. Governor is the head of the state as well as the representative of the center. So, as the head of the state and as the representative of the center, in both these positions, governor holds the discretionary powers. It is not that only as a representative of state he has the discretionary power. He has the discretionary power also as the head of the state. If we see Article 163, Clause 2, this is Clause 1. There shall be a Council of Minister to aid and advise the Governor. Governor can also act independently of the advice of Council of Minister. Article 163, Clause 2 establishes that which matters should fall under the discretionary power of the Governor will be decided by the Governor. That means Governor is the final authority to decide whether an issue has to be managed on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister or independently. That simply means he can take his own decision. Even he can go against the Council of Minister, aid and advice, and he can keep that particular bill or particular matter for the reconsideration of the President. So, the final authority to see whether something falls under the discretionary power of the Governor is Governor himself. Clause number 3 of Article 163 says that no court can investigate into any decision taken by Governor, which simply means if a Governor reconsiders a particular bill for the reconsideration of the President, so the particular decision cannot be a matter of investigation in a court of law in India. That gives immunity to the Governor for making any decision on the discretionary basis. So now, court to inquire. Immunity is also provided to Governor under Article 361. So this particular article provides immunity to the Raj Pramukhs, provides immunity to the President and also immunity to the Governor. Now, if we can understand this with one example, if it is the discretionary power of the Governor to appoint anyone as the Chief Minister, in his opinion, if that person holds the majority, Governor can ask him and allow him for the floor test in the House. If any appointee is not competent, but still the Governor makes the appointment, the question should not be and must not be asked from the Governor, but the question will be asked from the appointee. He or she will be asked to prove the authority with which they are sitting on the chair. That simply means they have to prove, the appointee, it means whoever has been appointed as the Chief Minister will have to prove whether they are eligible to be the Chief Minister or not. But the Governor's decision will not come into question. So let us just see what are the discretionary powers given to Governor. So under Article 200, Governor can reserve any bill for the reconsideration of the President if that bill derogates the High Court from its power in any way. If any bill or rule or bylaw derogates the High Court from its power, that particular bill can be reserved for the reconsideration of the President. When such a bill comes for review to the Governor is in his power to act independently of the advice of Council of Ministers. Surely the Legislative Assembly passes the bill, Council of Ministers agree with that bill, but still, for the unity and integrity of the country, if any bill hampers the unity and integrity of the nation. Any bills derogates the position of the High Court. That particular bill can be reserved for the reconsideration of the President. So, under Article 200, one is any bill which is making the position of the High Court derogatory. Second thing, any other bill. Any bill this is a very wide term, any bill. Under Article 200, Governor can reserve any bill for the reconsideration of the President, including money bills. If any money bill hampers in any way the unity and integrity of the nation, the unity and integrity of the nation, or even if a money bill derogates the High Court from its position, can be reserved for the reconsideration of the President. People have major doubts when it comes to money bill. Governor cannot give back, cannot send back the money bill for the reconsideration of the House. Once the money bill comes to the table of the governor, he has to give his assent to the money bill. But that does not mean that he loses the power to reserve it for the reconsideration of the President. So any bill which comes to the table of the governor, he has the power, the discretionary power given under Article 163 Clause 1 to reserve it for the reconsideration of the President. Why does he do it? Because of the oath he has taken. What is the oath of the governor? To preserve the constitution and the unity and integrity of the nation. So any clause can become subsidiary in front of this oath, which says that to maintain the unity and integrity of the nation and to maintain constitutionality, to maintain the constitutional machinery, positive spirit, that particular bill can be reserved for the consideration of the President. Another important discretionary power given to the governor is to send report to the central government under Article 356. Under Article 356, fortnightly, governor sends the report whether the constitutional machinery in the state is working properly or not. And in the event there is some disturbance, or there is a hung assembly, or there is dissolution of the house, and any candidate of the chief minister loses the majority, anything happens, and if the state is not in a position to work constitutionally according to the rules of the parliamentary democracy, governor can send the report under Article 356, and under this article only, President's rule is imposed in that state. So this is again the discretionary power of the governor to send the report under Article 356. Then in Assam, some of the tribal areas, governor holds the discretionary power. Special status under Article 371. Under Article 371A, C, H, and E, governor holds the discretionary power. So these are the few major discretionary power, and one among them is the most controversial one, which is the appointment of chief minister. This is another discretionary power given to the governor. So we have covered we have seen the distinction between Article 74(1), we have seen Article 163 Clause 1, 2, 3. Then we have seen what happens under Article 200, which is about the assent to bills. Governor can give his assent to the bill, but also can reserve any bill for the reconsideration of the President. These are the important articles which we have seen. Now we should also see that how the position of President and Governor distinguish in the matter of discretion under Article 74(1). As we know, President has to work under the aid and advice of Council of Minister. Governor, on the other hand, can work on the aid and advice and also independent. Now, the another thing is the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. Under this act, the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers has been made binding on the President. Under this, the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers has been made binding on the President. But no such provision has been made for the Governor. That simply means the Governor is not binded by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, even when he is working not in an independent capacity. That simply means when he is working on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, he is not binded by that aid and advice. This is an important thing to remember. Still, he can reserve a bill for the reconsideration of the President. Another important thing, when a bill is passed by the Legislative Assembly or the Legislative Council, also if a state has a Legislative Council, then that bill goes for the assent of the Governor. Similar thing happens in the case of President. A bill is passed from Rajya Sabha and from Lok Sabha, and then it goes for the assent of the President. If the President finds some fault, or if the President sends it back for the reconsideration of the House, and if it is passed again with or without any change, it is the duty of the President of India to give his assent. The President has to give his assent to the bill. But no such provision is there for the Governor. If the Governor sends the bill back for the reconsideration of the House, and the House sends the bill back for the assent to the Governor, still the Governor can reserve it for the reconsideration of the President. That simply means he is not binded by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So the position of Governor in India is very unique. He is the head of the state, but at the same time also the representative of the center to maintain the vital link which is needed for functioning of the constitutional democracy and parliamentary democracy in India. It is important to tilt the power towards the union and away from the center, so that there cannot be any separatist tendency which was prevalent during the making of the Indian Constitution. So this was the video on discretionary power of the Governor. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.